Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk, thinking right out here in the lab. Why do what I do for you? I'm feeling good about this one. Let's talk about the snake people. What the what? Just a little heads up, you know how I like to do. So let's do what we do. Rightism, 24 rules live by storytelling. Story with a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You turn the receiving them. We got a good thing working. Let's keep it going. Right thinking mission, and yeah, that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Do my Trump thing with the hands. Yeah, that nonsense. Yeah, excuse me. But right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal, spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is to get all right thinkers the information and knowledge to do just that, know thyself. So I asked the question. My mission is to get you the information. Your goal is to get it and use it and know thyself. So I ask you, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. Let's go. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not, it's simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinker, know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. I gave you a tidbit about the snake people, but we're going to talk about right thinkers. Let's talk about Druidism and the environment of religious development in Africa and Eurasia. I guess that's Europe and Asia together. I don't know, but it started in circa 15 BCE until 700 ACE. Now, when I said the snake people, the Druids, I'll give you a quick story, and you'll see it as we go down here. They don't say nothing about snakes, okay? But if you know about the Celtics, okay, the Celtics they call them, the Vikings, whatever. But okay, white people from the mountains, Caucasus white people. But we came there, we got ran out of Egypt. We came over to their side and started doing our thing. And when they got tired of us, they called the Pied Piper. They had a problem with mice. Remember they said the rats, the Pied Piper played music, the rats followed them out of town. It's really they would get rid of snakes, the snake people. They called the Druids the snake people because they worshiped the cobra. Okay, they had the arrays on their head, hence snake people. So they was again ostracized, misunderstood, and then killed. Okay, for philosophical religious beliefs. That went on a lot back in them days. So you didn't have freedom to worship. So that's what I'm telling you. Everybody got a philosophy, but everybody had the right to exercise it because when somebody else came in, what you was doing, you ain't doing no more. So let's get the concept. Let's talk about the Jewish right quick. I'm going to take you from the Druid environment, religious concept, and I'm going to show you how the continent, Africa, and the Maya philosophy, how they commit, how far it spread. So I'm going to get that lesson right quick. All right, let's go. Now, it is evident that the period designated by the Egyptologists as dynastic represents only the last portion of what? The 5,500 years. Okay, so they're not counting before the 5,000. You're going to count 5,000 back. All right, yeah, whatever. Okay, but of Egyptian history. What the hell is that about, first of all? If I got 10,000 years of history, start from 10,000, work your way back. But they're going to start at 5,000. Okay, so of Egyptian history. And watch this. It shows an overall, decline in every level of society. Yeah, why? It would start to come in and take pot shots at us. We would start to be invaded. We would start to be taken over. And we're starting to get uncomfortable doing what? Following my yacht. So everything went awry. Okay, how you go? Because one of my students asked me, well, they were so smart and they had on the eye, how do you get lose everything? There you go right here. Time, ignorance, and other people coming in. Watch this. Now, it must be noted that the period between the years 1500 BCE and 700 ACE was what? Was marked by a steep decline of what? The Egyptian society, which had existed for what? Thousands of years before. And the rise and fall of who? The Aryans, the Greeks, the Romans, the Persians, the Asiatics, the European, and even the Arab empires. All of them came into Egypt and took. Okay, I just gave you all the philosophical concepts, which I'm doing now. I'm trying to show you everybody used our philosophical concept. They just didn't respect us enough not to conquer or take us over. The Egyptian sages, what happened? Realized the growing threat coming from the Asiatic invasions, along with the declining moral structure of society. They were starting to go haywire, okay, losing the grip. And due to what? The unceasing military and social struggles against the Asiatic invaders, time to do something. AKA pack up and haul ass. It was during this time, watch this, that the sages and the other members of the Egyptian society, began to leave Egypt in large numbers. Why? They didn't like what was going on, so they gassed and they getting out. And watch this. Coincidentally, what happened? During this period, they saw the greatest growth in intellectual expositions of ancient Egypt, ancient mystical philosophy, all outside of Egypt. Example, Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism. They all became famous at the fall of Egypt. That's what they're saying. And one of the many exodus, that's this, and we know that Moses exited Egypt too. Okay, he got a story where he left too. The mini exodus was that of the Druids, which was Egyptians. The Druids were Egyptian followers. They followed the philosophical concepts of the Egyptians. They just were Druids, okay. And their teachers, and who migrated to where? Gaul, Gaul, and that's located in northern Europe. They left the continent. Why? They had the fleet. They had to get out, okay. In the British Isles, watch this. They instructed the Gauls, meaning they taught, they informed them, and the Celtics, the Celts, okay? Warlike tribe who were just the savages pretty much. We educated them, which is warlike tribes of Northeastern Europe. In the following philosophy, we educated them on, and this was the philosophy from the Druids. The soul is immortal. Egyptian concept, truth. At death, the soul passes into the body of a newborn baby. Yeah, conceptually. Why? Because it goes into the astral plane, which is the holding bed for the soul, and it waits for a newborn. So conceptually, I can work that. I can put them two together. But, all right, no problem. The third one is we are all descended from the supreme being. Okay, got that. Now, in the year 10,030 BCE, Celtic king, okay, by the name of Canuti, issued an edict. Watch this. Against, it's always the king who puts it out. Watch this. Against the Druids, the black people, the snake people, as they call them. Okay, he put an edict out of the Druids and the cults, as with the cults such as that of Socrates out of Greece, Jesus and the Essenes, who had learned the ancient mystical wisdom from Egypt, They were feared by who? The Roman emperor, as well as the local political military leaders who sought to what? Control who? The masses, the sheep-like people. By what? By keeping them in a state of perpetual ignorance about what? Their true nature and the power which lies within all humans to attain ultimate freedom. Knowing thyself. They didn't want that practice. They didn't want that taught. Why? That would wake the people up in the night and them. Sound familiar? I did a lesson about movement starters. Every movement starter in history was killed by the powers that be during their time they were starting the movement. Socrates, Jesus, okay, Martin, JFK, Malcolm. See the pattern? And I asked the question, do we have a black leader for the black people right now? Why? That seat is vacant. Why? There's a red dot on it. Those who know what I mean. Moving on, I ain't going to that right now, but the lesson is about the Druids and how, like I said, the white man got tired of black people being there, so they ran them out. Called them snake people. Gave you a whole bunch of fairy tales, different stories about what really happened. Okay, but yeah, ain't no snakes in the Celtics in war of that area. Okay, there was Druids. They called this because they had the Uranus. Remember, their sign was the Uranus on top of the head. They called them snake people. All right, let me get to the lesson. Now, the Egyptian sign right here. Let me show you this right quick. And you can see this, understand this right quick. You see the pyramid with the swastika in it? Do you see the upside down pyramid? I'll explain that to you right quick. All right, a quick lesson. The Egyptian symbol also used by the Druids. Again, a pyramid enclosed with the swastika, an ancient Egyptian symbol for who? Haru, as the god of what? The four quarters of creation. The corners, north, east, south, and west direction of cardinal corners. That's what they called it. And they're represented by the swastika. Your boy Hitler used it for another reason, but he understood the concept. So watch this. Now you got the upside down pyramid, known in Egypt as what? A triangle of Haru, and in India is called the yoni, the yantra, which represents what? The pubic area of the female womb of God, from where all things come. Creation from a female principle, etc. That's what the concept of the Druids. They followed the Egyptian concepts. The Celtics didn't like it. They ran them out. Moving on. Now we can talk about how the influence, how the spread of the Egyptian mythology and philosophy spread it. Watch this, how far it went. This the tentacles of the Kemet. From one side, we got it going, the Yoruba tribe, then you got the Americas. We came here first, okay? Then you got Santeria, that's the other side of Africa. This is the continent. Now, right above Africa, above Kemet, in the northeast corner, they got Greece. And they took the Greek philosophy, they took the Hermetic concepts, and they called themselves the Rosicrucians. You know about them? Yeah, I know about them also. Okay? That's the Red House people. Alright? But these was all Jewish and Greek concepts. Then you got the Sufis. You got the Essence with Jesus. You got the Kabbalah from the Jews. Okay? You got the Hinduism. Then you got Buddhism. You got Taoism in China. And you got the Shin in Japan. And you also got Asia. All of these people bit off of Kemetic mythological philosophy. So watch this. Now from the previous essay, it is possible to what? To understand the enduring influence of our ancient Ethiopian and Egyptian religion and philosophy. Everybody follows it. Everybody practices it to some degree. Though it may not be possible to pinpoint every single historical event which traces the movement of the philosophy of oneness. That's what our philosophy in Egypt was, oneness. I'm going to wrap it up with the oneness concept also. But throughout the world, now it is possible to determine what? And correlate the various concurrent themes of each system and to derive what? A basis of mythological and philosophical unity. They all got a common thread. I tell you that. I've been telling you that for the longest. Okay? And when you study it, you'll know. Through the study, here you go, through the study of history, a new picture emerges where, in reference to what? Our understanding. If you study, you'll have a different understanding of our work, religions, and what? The meaning of our existence, regardless of their origins, be it Mars, Africa, Sirius, etc. But what? It is possible to view our own religious origins and religious needs where? With the sense of commonality as members of what? A single human race. It ain't but one. Human. Which does, watch this, which goes beyond any regional differences which might have caused changes in what? The original teachings. We already know it's been tampered with, it's been translated, it's been corrupted, so misunderstood. So all that can happen through a period of time. We got that. So let's talk about some people who didn't happen to. Wow, these are the original people who kept the philosophy, and as they moved on, you got the Zulu tribe, you got the Dogon tribe, you got the Yoruba and the Fan tribe, and they have their mythological and philosophy that they go by. Watch this. This is theirs. Now, at about the time when the Sphinx was constructed, do you know when that was? Yeah, they say 10,013, no, 50,000 BCE to 10,000 BCE. Before we was keeping actual records, we was writing in papyrus. And when we got invaded by Alexander, he burnt over millions worth of knowledge that we had stored over the period of time. So all that's gone. Moving on. So yeah, we go back a long time. That's the point. But Northeast Africa, Ethiopia, Egypt, was in what? An abundant, lush, green forest in which many groups lived in harmony with each other. Again, for thousands of years. The Sahara Desert, what's this? Was only in its beginning stages of formation. As time passed, the climatic change became more pronounced, leading to the formation of what? Expansion of the Sahara Desert as the annual rainfall became what? Reduced with each passing millennia. Rain less and less. Now they got water erosion on the Sphinx. It ain't been water in Africa for over 15,000 years. 11, 12,000 to be exact that they claim. But before then, the Sphinx had to be rained on a whole lot to have that water erosion. So that's the point. So watch this. Now many civilized groups and tribes found it what? Necessary to leave North Central Africa area, aka the Sahara, in order to what? Survive the onslaught that was coming in, the invaders that was coming in, and when they want to survive, they had to ante up and get out. Watch this. Now, two of these groups were, we know, still hung in. There was the Zulu from Shaka, that's his tribe, and the Dogons. Okay, those two. The Zulu culture currently live in what? The southern part of the continent, now referred to as Africa, but stories of their origins have survived in their mythology. One Zulu tradition claims that they originated where? In the stars, and arrived on Earth after living on the planet Mars. Here's when it gets a little touchy. I listen to all these guys talking about the other people. I don't knock it, those who came from all that good stuff. When you tell me that they came from somewhere else, you tend to drift a little bit. Why? Because I don't subscribe to that. Until you give me factual proof, I'm still a little hesitant about that. That's all. I'm listening. I'll go along with it, but I ain't buying it. But watch this. They claim living on Mars, and the move to Earth was needed. Why? Because there was war on Mars. Really? And it left the planet uninhabitable. Hell, we about to do that to the Earth. So y'all just go from planet to planet, just blowing it up, radiation poison it, so people can't live there and go to another planet. I ain't subscribing to that. But watch go. Now, recent evidence, let me wrap this up. Recent evidence has been found by the American Viking Space Program that, watch this, corroborates NASA. Never a straight answer. So I don't trust nothing they say, first of all. So let's go. Now, the program collaborates with this claim and evidence indicates, watch this, possible kinship ties between the Zulu and the Ethiopian Egyptians. Okay. In the late 1970s, the Viking spacecrafts, which were sent to photograph Mars, revealed a complex of pyramids, the Giza Plateau, and a giant Sphinx face which stares out into space. We all seen that picture. We saw that, whatever, I don't, computer generated, whatever. If ain't nothing on Mars but rocks, how can it, what happened? So moving on. I ain't going there. I ain't got time to make that argument. The Dogon culture, watch this, who now reside in the Western African adhere to what? The cosmogony and mythology, which closely follows the Egyptian systems. As with the ancient Egyptians and the Dogons revered what? The star Sirius as the origin of humanity, and the role of Haru as what? The savior is given to God. The name their God was called Nomo. Okay, they did the same ritual. And watch this. A detailed description of the cosmogony and mythology will be found where? In the book called The Pale Fox. Read that one. By Marcel Grohl and Germain, what's that? Dieterlin, who studied with who? The Dogon masters for over 15 years. I saw one documentary when they showed the original Dogons from the 70s. When they first went there, they did the ritual, and they all did it in their bare feet. I saw another guy went there later on. They out there with Nikes and Pumas and Adidas on. I'm just saying, I recognize that. And watch this. He hung out with them for 15 years. And like the Zulu, the Dogon, they also acknowledge what? Their ancient origins from northeastern Africa. Masonic order tell you there's nothing in the northeast corner. Another lesson. But let me wrap this up again, sorry. But you got the Yoruba people who also reside in Western Africa. The Yoruba religion has many similarities with the what? Cosmogony, God, and divination system of Egypt. Again, for example, one Yoruba creation story is almost identical to the Egyptian one, which is described in what? The Shabaka stone. Gave that lesson already. The Memphite theology. And it describes in the beginning as being what? A watery, marshy place, the abyss, the noon, also anything. But the supreme being created what? The great God whom he directed to create the world, as in the judgment of the Egyptian book coming forth by day. What? Those whom directed, the idea of what? Judgment after death is also held by the Yorubas. Why? It is believed that after death, the spirit of the person goes in front of God in order to give an account of his or her life. We use the scales of Mayat, the halls of Mayat, as in Egypt, the halls of Mayat. Yep. The Yorubas believe what? That some will go to live with relative ancient ancestral worship God in a good place, right? But that's if they become enlightened, you go there. But if you don't, others will end up where? In a bad place. And thus it is said, all the things we do on earth, we will give account for in heaven. We will state our case where? At the foot of God. That's what we consider to be the scales of Mayat. That's what we call judgment. And now, wrapping it up with the Fan nation of West Africa, they view the snake as the creator. Watch this. Here's a they call. I like this one. The creator of the sustainer of creation is a snake, a giant snake, through which is 3,500 coils above the earth and 3,500 coils below the earth. The snake represents what? Energy and what? Perpetual motion. Energy without which creation would immediately what? Disintegrate. This description recalls what? The primeval serpent of ancient Egyptian mythology and the Kundalini serpent of India, which, watch this, with her coiled up, the cosmic energy which sustains all life. We call it Sikkim in Egypt. Another fawn story tells what? That a serpent carried God everywhere, where? In his mouth, in the making of creation. This is reminiscent of what? The Egyptian story of what? The serpent in the sky. I told you the serpent in the rainbow. The Aborigines tell a story about that one. Also, the main character in fawn mythology, you ready for this? Legba. Now, Legba here, I don't know if he represents evil, but in the story of Selling Your Soul, you wanted to have Legba is the devil. So right here, Legba seeks to what? Reconcile the rift between heaven and earth, which occurred in primeval times. These stories resemble those of who? Harun, who traveled the land, teaching and enlightening the people, just like his dad. Throughout Africa, the snake with two heads in the form of a circle, or a serpent in the form of a circle, swallowing its own tail, represents what? Eternity. This way. Okay? This way, Ouroboros, nowhere. So, in life, but continually. Constant rejuvenation, etc. You keep coming back, keep coming back. That's reincarnation. And it should be noted what? That one of the goals of Kundalini Yoga is to develop what? Your life force energy of the serpent, and to what? Tie up that serpent energy into what? A circuit wherein energy does not escape, thereby accumulating it and what? And resulting in a rejuvenation of what? The body and a raised consciousness. That's the idea of knowing thyself, becoming understanding of who you are while on earth before your judgment day, because that's going to come anyway. But live righteous, be virtuous, and imparting right thinkers. May you live to be 100, me 100 minus a day. So I never knew that right thinkers had passed away. I got more for you coming up with the conclusion. We're getting to the end of the chapter. I'll be back.